Okay, let's get these jokes out of the way. I'm pretending I'm reading a page book of jokes. $4 million to produce, okay. Telepathic mind linking for talking, okay. Anime night on prom night, okay. Okay, we're good. Um, 5 studios and none of them could make it work. And Mega Man joke that I want to make. Okay, good. We're good. We're filled up on the quota of Mega Man jokes before we start. Hello there, everybody. This is Siwat the Plant One here, and welcome to another edition of Platinum Impressions, in which I talk about games that are apparently very, very bad, but I have varying opinions on things anyway, so who really cares? Today, we're going to be talking about a game that came out 2 years ago. And apparently this thing has receded, I guess. I don't know. I don't really get Mega Man. Mega Man. It might as well be Mega Man 9 because this is Mighty Number 9 for basically every platform ever except for the Nintendo Switch and 3DS and the Sony Who Cares. You can basically get it on any system really, but anyway. Yes, I am finally going to be talking about a game that I have checked off my list of really bad games that made the internet explode, and yes, I'm going to finally talk about Mighty Number 9, the Kickstarter game that is the successor to the Mega Man series, created by, or rather made by, Keiji Inafune, of course. Now, of course, you all know how it went down at this point, It was able to make all of its stretch goals via the Kickstarter, but the process of when the backing date actually ended to the actual release date was very much hell. There was a lot of delays, a lot of miscommunication, a lot of everything apparently went down. And, yeah, that's basically how it went. Basically, the wait leading up to the release date for backers of Mighty Number 9 was pretty... it was pretty terrible. I can only imagine. I'm just gonna go outright and say this right now. I didn't back this game. Like, I didn't really have the means to. But I can understand, like, waiting for something that you really backed on and stuff. But, yeah. But needless to say, by the time the game came out in 2016, it basically made the internet explode in anger. Where hardcore fans didn't like it, made videos about it, why Mighty Number 9 went wrong, and blah 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 blah. And, other people outright hated the game for what it is, and still others felt very meh to it. Because, of course, I mean, if we didn't learn anything about how Sonic Boom made the internet sting, then Mighty Number 9 was the very latest. Now, this is where I'm coming from with all this, is, well, I am a casual fan of Mega Man. I really only played 2 of the classic series, Mega Man 2 and 3, and I played X1, X2, and X4. And I'm very anxiously waiting the day when I can finally own every classic Mega Man game and X game and Mega Man 11 on the Nintendo Switch. So, yeah, I do have some familiarity with the series, of course, and how it operates and how it's basically a run-and-gun type game with platforming. So, I eventually did get this game on PC, but I really wasn't really feeling the PC version on how it ran and stuff, so I eventually got it for my PS4, and it was only like $7. I decided to just basically jump at it. It's like, why not? I might as well. And, I played it, and it's definitely an average Mega Man game. Yeah, it's really only an average Mega Man game. I didn't really feel anything towards, like, Mighty Number 9 because I was just that casual of a Mega Man fan, really, because, I mean, I did feel the anger, but I wasn't along with them. I wasn't like, how bad could it be? And, yeah. Plot times.
It is the present year.
That's what the game says, so I say it's 2018. Plus, it's in America, so everything's basically doomed already from the start. American jokes. Anyway, Robots and humans do things together in this society and blah blah blah. We all know this at this point in the Mega Man stuff. And basically where robots fight at, they apparently go on in the universe at this random coliseum in a random city and blah blah blah. Then the robots go all screwy due to a virus, and it's up to our not Mega Man hero, called Beck, to stop the rampaging robots. Namely the mighty numbers created by Beck's creator, the not Dr. Light of this game, Dr. White. Along with the help of the mission control with this big old round guy called Dr. Sanda, who just really loves to say things like, "What in the Sam Hill and peas and rice and crackers and cheese." And our not role for the game, Call, who is apparently a really piece of wood. And would you look at that presentation? Just ooh. Yeah, that presentation though. You know, I'm thinking at this point the story doesn't matter, the graphics don't matter, just look at this. Just look at these cutscenes, man. Like, this is how the game is presented. This is how the game is presented. Like, people weren't kidding when they said that the characters barely emote at all, and they really only speak through mind linking and open mouths going, "Oh!" Like, Jesus. Again, $4 million. What the hell? What the hell happened? But either way, needless to say, you know, you gotta stop the virus, and there's a whole lot of, you know, plot stuff going on, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Basically, the point is to stop, you know, the virus from infecting every single robot known to man. And while the story is basically just as simple as any other given Mega Man game, you know, stop the thing, you know, you're a jump and shoot man, you know, stop the thing, only without the not Dr. Wily as the final boss. They introduce all sorts of story elements through exposition that are kind of hard to follow. Like, my guess is that this game was meant to have sort of a prequel to it, because they talk about things that you don't really know about, and it's kind of confusing. It's kind of confusing, but you know what? At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. Like, if they felt like they didn't really care about the story, then why should I? All that matters in the end is that you have to stop the virus and you save the day. Sorry to spoil the whole experience for you. You saved the day as Mega Man. That's really all I have to say. So yeah, story's not important, but what about the actual video game? Like, what is in this Mega Man game that is this not Mega Man game that is apparently very bad? It's just Mega Man. You know, it's a Mega Man. You know, you're a jump and shoot man who shoots all the lemons at the robots and absorbs the boss power-ups at the end of the stage. Yeah, it's basically your average Mega Man game that's not really Mega Man. You know, despite the fact that, you know, they have all these different characters going around, it's basically just a Mega Man game at the end of the day, really. Except there's one big difference, though. The big difference here is the fact that you are able to dash and assimilate enemy robots. What I mean by that is by shooting each robot a few times, they'll start showing a certain color to them, like red, green, yellow, and the like. That's basically your tell to dash into them and absorb their certain abilities to help you out. And they can actually be relatively useful for running and gunning. Like, yellow increases the movement, red increases firepower, and so on and so forth. Which actually is a relatively neat concept. I mean, yeah, it's basically a mechanic that's unique that's not really in the Mega Man series. I mean, from what I can tell, in Mega Man X, you had a dash move, but never has it been, you know, so important like, you know, the dash maneuver in this one. And, you know, those abilities can actually be relatively useful for, you know, speedrunning and stuff, you know? But there is one color I forgot to mention, which is blue, which is your energy tank. And it sucks. Why? Because here's the thing. You really start to notice this problem, this first design flaw that they really should have fixed up when you deal with, you know, most boss fights, or boss fights that can give you really hell, you know? So basically, just like in Mega Man, there are energy tanks that can restore you up to full health, right? And there are two kinds. There is the first kind, which is the regular tank, which you get from absorbing blue stuff from enemies, which takes a while. And the other one that you can get only through sucking so much at the game. Like, you die a lot, and at the checkpoint where you last started, there is this little helper robot guy that can give you an energy tank just because you suck at the game, like a pity energy tank. And I sucked. I sucked at the game badly, which is why there is a lives remaining option that lets you have up to 9 lives, which I did because I totally suck at Mega Man. Yeah, that's actually another thing. I suck at Mega Man. So most of these complaints are either just me or the actual game. But they're mostly the game. But anyway. About the energy tanks, you can only carry up to 1 of them. Or 2 of them if you're really lucky. And if you just so happen to die at all, or if you finish the stage, that energy tank is gone. And it sucks. Because, well, even though you can clear these stages, well, if you know what you're doing, you can clear these stages in a matter of minutes. But if this is your first playthrough and, you keep, dying to this boss fight that is really, really hard, you would think that they would save energy tanks. But no. Energy tanks are just non-existent. They might as well just be non-existent. Or not very helpful at all. If that's the system that they're going for. And it especially sucks because the final boss is kind of a dick. It is kind of a dick. And the level leading up to it is kind of a dick too. But yeah, aside from the blue element of the dash mechanic not really working out very well in the end, I think the dash mechanic is actually kind of neat. And makes going through each stage at least a little bit fun. In fact, in Mighty No. 9's defense, not every stage in this game is a bad. Like, from my experience, I relatively enjoyed about 60% of it, I guess. I relatively enjoyed the Aviator stage, which reminded me of Storm Eagle a little bit. Pyrogen stage was pretty neat, well, except for the fact that you have to do an ending sprint, otherwise you die. Like, again, most of these stages aren't really too bad, and, they wouldn't be, totally out of place in Mega Man. They really wouldn't be. But the one thing that I cannot actually stand about the game is the fact that they put do or die scenarios in like maybe 25% of the stages. Like, they have at least like 1 or 2 do or die situations, which I hate. Like in Dynatron stage, like there's this part where you have to crouch dash. And you have to be really, really close to these turbines that instantly kill you. And, if you're not close enough with the crouch dashing, well, you die. And guess what? What's that? You didn't do the dash right and you have to start the game over again? I mean, not really the whole game over, but you have to start the level again. But you know what I mean. Like you get this works basically just like classic Mega Man. If you get a game over, you have to start the whole level all over again. That really just, especially if it's a really, really hard level with do or die situations too. Like, Jesus. This game, for any casual Mega Man fan, like I am, is going to be very frustrated with these certain sections of levels that have, these do or die situations. And that is almost never a good thing for me. Like, if it's required through the main game, it's not good to me. And unless it's the point of a certain specific challenge, like sort of like an extra thing, like Mario Galaxy 2's, perfect run, it's not it's not that good to me, It's just not that good. Plus, there's a whole lot of trial and error going on. Like, that was my really first experience, like, that I'm aware that there is trial and error in video games. Like, oh god, like, if there's a do or die situation where you have to do, like, trial and error, it's just, And especially if it's to the point where the game doesn't really tell you what to do. Like, okay. So, little did I know that Aviator's power actually does give you the power to actually fly, or not really fly, but float down in midair. I didn't know that. So that made a certain section in the Robot Factory level a little bit of a hell for me, honestly. Like, if the game explained a little bit more, like, instead of just the basic controls, like, I wouldn't have so much trouble with this. Like, they really only explain, you know, the basic controls via the intro stage. And, you know, what's left of, you know, all the other techniques that you had to do via, you know, causal section where she can offer hints and tips for you, you know? So I just wish, like, more things were, like, explained in that sense, you know? I just wish more things were explained in that sense. So it's because of those things, plus the fact that, you know, several sections of several levels were really, really frustrating, and also screw Seismic Stage so much. Yes, screw Seismic Stage so much. Plus the fact that I didn't really, you know, care about the story at all, and, you know, if the story doesn't care, then why should I? It's the fact that, you know, there are some fun things in this game. Like, okay, this game had the potential to be really, really fun, and there are hints of a good game in here. Like, the dashing mechanic, for whatever it is, works out pretty well. Like, the control is all there, the dashing mechanic is actually kind of solid, and can make for some wickedly fast platforming. And, you know, most of the stages are, you know, or at least, you know, 60% of the stages are relatively alright. They're relatively alright. But it's just the fact that, you know, it's boggled down with so many of these bad design choices, plus its entire presentation, that just makes Mighty Number 9 feel like it's okay. Like, if the people behind this game took the time to just fix up, you know, these design flaws, like, we could have had, you know, a decent, you know, not Mega Man game, you know? But for what it is, I would say, for my money, that is $7 on the PS4, that Mighty Number 9 is just, it's just okay. Like, it can be fun at random intervals, like at really random intervals, but it's just frustrating the rest of the way through, you know? Like, playing this game, my opinions were like all over the place, like, oh my god, this stage is so much frustrating, oh, and then it's just like, oh my god, this game is actually kind of neat. It's actually kind of neat. And then the final boss is just like, oh, God. Yeah, that's honestly how I felt about Mighty Number 9. It's just like, this whole thing of this game is just okay. It's just okay. Like, I'm speaking this as not a backer of this game, but as a casual fan of the series. Like, this game could have been a whole lot better. This game could have been a whole lot better if the process of getting to this point was a whole lot better handled. But the people behind the Kickstarter didn't really do anything about it. Like, the communication was just so terrible and all that, and blah blah blah, and any questions were like left unanswered or whatever. And the final product ended up being so average or so bad to so many people. Like, I understand now. Like, playing Mighty Number 9, I finally understand how this could have pissed a whole lot of people off. But at the same time, my opinion of Mighty Number 9 is just that I found it just okay. Like, it's a video game. I'm just gonna say that. It's a video game made by people. It's definitely a Mega Man game. It definitely has a whole lot of the tropes that make Mega Man what it is. It's a Mega Man game. And, you know, if you're a fan of this game, you know, good, enjoy it, whatever. And, you know, if you hate it, then okay. But personally, for me, I just think that Mighty Number 9 is just okay. It's just okay. Like I said, like a million times already. That's what happens when your computer shuts down automatically and it doesn't let you save your work on WordPad and doesn't let you save the scripts. Oh, God. But yeah, for better or for worse, those were my thoughts on Mighty Number 9. Like, I'll definitely get more mileage out of this game yet, I suppose, until I move on to bigger and better things. But, you know, in the end, it's a video game. It's a video game. You can either like it or not. Wow, not bad for something that accidentally happened and turned into a thing. So, yeah, I better stop right here before I, screw up any more things. But, yeah, those are my thoughts on Mighty Number 9, for better or for worse. And, yeah. So anyway, I will indeed see you guys on the next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.